We're here to give you a little bit of an update from our last press briefing last night. We continue to work through the operations that we had discussed with you last night, continuing on with our safety protocols and our processes. At this time, I'd like to introduce Ohio Director of Public Safety, Mr. Andy Wilson.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I wanted to start out this afternoon by letting everybody know that Governor situation continues to pay close attention to what is going on in the ground and continues from the state to help make decisions and coordinate resources and response to better protect the citizens of Ohio and this community. He wanted me personally to say thank you to the first responders who have been working so hard since Friday night to keep the members of this community safe. Our State Highway Patrol, who continues to be out in the streets. They are manning checkpoints to ensure that folks cannot put themselves into a position of danger or a position that may endanger their lives. He wanted me to thank the emergency response experts, folks who are coordinating services to the members of this community to take care of not only their physical safety but the inconvenience that comes to their life with this type of disruption. There have been no reports of significant injuries, either in the initial derailment or in the controlled detonation last night, or any of the fallout or circumstances of those two incidents. That is such a great testimony to the strength of our emergency responders who reacted so quickly to get the resources we needed into the danger zone. It is a statement to, again, the experts in emergency response planning and coordination. It's a statement to the scientists and the experts that we have brought in who are giving the decision makers the information they need to keep our community safe. But most of all, it is a statement, a positive statement of strength with respect to the members of this community. This is a community where folks take care of each other, take care of themselves. And the fact that we've got neighbor looking after neighbor, we've got people who are patiently waiting for us to help resolve this situation so they can get back to their houses, get back to their lives. Again, that just goes a long way in showing how strong this community is and how it represents the best of what we have here in our neighborhoods, in our towns in Ohio. The state EMA went to a partial activation, and that's our emergency management agency. They went to a partial activation yesterday afternoon just so we could more closely monitor and react to any issues associated with the controlled detonation. We are staying at that partial activation, and we will remain there probably until the ultimate order that it's safe for folks to go back to their homes is given by the incident commander. We are also operating in Columbus as part of our partial activation, a joint information center. And again, if you folks have questions, need assistance, I encourage you to contact the state EMA, and our joint information center will take care of you. Like I said, we have 30 troopers from the State Highway Patrol, really they've been absolutely magnificent. They surged in here the other night to assist local law enforcement in dealing with some traffic control issues, dealing with community notification, and our young troopers they've just been great to watch. We had the opportunity to go out on the streets with them when they were doing some of the door knocking, trying to get people out. The message that they brought was one of really compassion. It was one of public safety first. Look, we need you to get out of here. But it also was a message of compassion and caring. We care about you. We know this is inconvenience. We are going to hook you to the people that we know can help you deal with some of these discomfort issues. And we just can't say enough about what they're doing currently out there manning these traffic control points, the way they've worked with their local counterparts, and the compassion that they've shown the people who live in this community. I'd also like to say that we have incident management teams here. We have one from Butler County. They have been a critical resource in helping manage just support to the local agencies and to the folks in the community who need it. So we continue to move forward. Governor DeWine is absolutely passionate about ensuring that we do everything in our power to protect this community. He's been very interested all along in ensuring the physical safety of the folks who live here and the folks in the surrounding area, coordinating with Pennsylvania to make sure that we take care of Pennsylvania citizens, or they have the information they need with respect to responding to this incident, and again, monitoring air quality and the environmental concerns and getting folks back safely into their homes. With that, I'll turn it over to a representative of the railroad who will speak about the detonation and where they're at right now.
Thank you, Director. Just to build on that, Norfolk Southern really thanks the first responders and everybody we've worked with. They've been great. The chief has been an excellent incident commander for us to work for. Any of our needs, our assistance, good communications. I just want to make sure that we got that out there first. So we're going to go back to where we finished yesterday at 7 o'clock in a news conference. So since then, we talked about the fire pit that the cars that were detonated went to. That fire pit is out. The 4 cars, all 5 of the vinyl chloride cars are no longer burning. They're out. The 4 of those cars have been cleared from the wreckage already. And we'll continue to work our way down to get to the 5th car through the other damaged cars in the derailment. We'll be staging those cars. They'll be inspected by the NTSB. Once that's complete, you'll see us cutting those cars up and removing them from the site. So that's the progression that we follow. Everything is safety-based. There's zones set up down there. People have respirators just in case they need them. If we come across anything, all that's being taken care of. We have air monitoring in the entire area down there for our workers and for our contractors that are working in that area. One other thing I want to get out, our assistance center that has been open to all the residents that were evacuated. We've been getting some questions from some businesses. For the businesses, they can come there if they have a question, but after the evacuation is lifted, our teams are going to go from business to business and gather their information. Thank you. Now the U.S. EPA.
Thank you. Just to give an update on the air monitoring, as our partner at the Norfolk Southern, air monitoring continues in the work zone. U.S. EPA, in conjunction with the Ohio Civil Support Team and Norfolk Southern contractors, continue to monitor air in the community. We monitored through the duration of the night through the burn and following the burn. We did not detect anything of significance on site outside the evacuation area, and we did respond to a number of concerns of people noticing odors and smoke in other areas, and we sent teams combined to collect readings there. We didn't find any levels of concern at that time. Now that the controlled fire and the venting is done, we're increasing our air monitoring within the 1 mile evacuation zone to get data for what the situation is now. Ultimately, hopefully in the near future, to lift that evacuation, get people back in the homes. But air monitoring continues until we can verify that the area is safe, and it's going to stay safe to allow people to return. And now I'll turn it over to General Harris.
As you're aware, Governor DeWine, at the request of local authorities, activated the National Guard on Sunday. Our response has consisted of 2 parts. The first part, the 135th MP Company from Chagrin Falls. That company is comprised almost fully of citizen soldiers. So those people were notified Sunday evening. Within hours, they assembled at their local armory, fell in on their equipment, and were here on site in East Palestine to support local law enforcement. Their mission is to assist with traffic control and to primarily help local law enforcement with that outer perimeter to keep people from coming in and harming themselves inside what may be a hazardous zone. The second part of the response is the 52nd Civil Support Team. That team came up from Columbus, again notified on Sunday, was here on site on Sunday night. And that team is a specialized, highly technical team of professionals whose job is to help assess the situation and provide data to the incident commander. They do that in two ways. One way is before, as we saw before the detonation, they provide mapping and geospatial data to the incident commander to help that incident commander make decisions about the consequences of whatever the incident was. And now on the other side of the incident, now that we've seen the controlled release, their job is working side by side with the EPA and with the railroad to do things like air monitoring so that they can provide, again, data to the incident commander about when and where those families can return to their homes. Not as simple as it may seem. It's not as simple as just sampling the air. Those teams they will deploy forward. They will sample areas where in the low spaces where any affected material may have settled. They'll be going into various residences and various businesses, sampling in basements, sampling surfaces to make sure that when we aggregate the data that we produce side by side with the EPA and the railroad, that we're providing the best and most accurate real-time or near real-time data to the incident commander to make those decisions. Again, we work side by side also with the Ohio Department of Health. We have on-site laboratories, we have very sophisticated monitoring equipment, and we have very well-trained personnel to include a nuclear science officer who are here on site to provide real-time or near real-time data to the incident commander for making tough decisions. I'll be followed by Mike from EPA.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mike Eberly from Ohio EPA, Office of Emergency Response. Ohio EPA is tasked with assisting with water quality protection. We do this through a series of containment and recovery points. We operate these through contractors with Norfolk Southern. We continue to monitor these, collecting material using vacuum trucks and implementing aeration points. We've also daily sample water quality in Sulphur Run and all the tributaries leading down to the Ohio River. As this data comes in, Ohio EPA will review it and then share it with the rest of Unified Command. Thank you.
In closing, crews are continuing to monitor this situation at the controlled release site and surrounding affected areas. We continue to receive that real-time data, air and water samples, which are currently being analyzed. I'd like to thank the community and the residents for your continued patience and understanding and cooperation throughout this process, as we maintain everyone's safety at our highest priority. Once the Ohio Department of Health, United States Environmental Protection Agency, in conjunction with the East Palestine Fire Department and Norfolk Southern Railroad, have determined that this is safe for East Palestine residents to return to their homes, and quite frankly, once I feel it's safe for my family to return, we will lift that evacuation order and start returning people home. We'll open it for questions.
What is the process that you have to go through to lift that evacuation? Give us your name.
James Justice with the United States Environmental Protection Agency.
Yeah, and can you take us through the process that you have to go through before you lift that evacuation?
The first process is to make sure that the air in the community within the evacuation zone is safe to return. Obviously, there's still ongoing operations, and we want to get enough data to ensure that that's not going to change. Once we're confident in that that's not going to change within that evacuation zone, then the process, we're currently developing plans to work through in conjunction with our partners at Ohio Department of Health, in consultation with Pennsylvania DEP and their state Department of Health, because we did have 2 states impacted, and also with Agency for Toxic Substance and Disease Registry to provide expert and subject matter expertise on the safe values that we should be seeing and then a screening process for those involved to re-enter the home. So we're still developing those plans and getting those numbers, but as soon as all that's in place, that will be finalized and agreed to by Unified Command, all involved, and move forward with it.
Tell us what levels you're trying to get down to before safe before we put down.
We're still developing those from our subject matter experts at the health agencies.
The fires around
One at a time.
Sorry. So the fires around, and we hear the EPA saying that their monitoring shows that the air quality levels are within what they expected. Everything is safe. What is it going to take to get to these people to their homes, or maybe more importantly, what remains unsafe enough to keep them from?
Okay, as he just said, we are referencing subject matter experts to give us that data of what safe limits are in order to get these people home. I want nothing more than to get my residents back home. I can't do that without that data. All right, I have to know what those numbers are. I can't stand here and tell you exactly what they are. I can't tell you what exactly we're looking for. I'm not an expert, subject matter expert on that. I'm a fireman. I put fires out.
Can you tell us what substances you're looking for that you're trying to measure?
Sir, we're looking at everything. I can't say we're singling out any one thing. I want to make sure that everything that was involved in this, all levels of it, all aspects of it, everything, not just vinyl chloride, not just acrylates, everything is safe. We have them drawing those numbers up, coming up with all of that data. Having them do that takes time. Once I am sure that I can bring everybody back home in a safe, effective manner and get them back into their homes, we will do that as quick as we can.
Can you just give us a guess? All right, folks, that's all we have time for right now.
No, I can't.
Just because we are talking to a number of people who are out there who've been evacuated, who stay in hotels, and we're just trying to get some sort of something on the calendar, so they can know how long we're going to be out there.
If I could give you an estimate, I would so gladly give that to you. I can't until I have those numbers and we look at this data to make sure. I can't stress that enough. Safety is paramount. It's the primary reason we're here. All right? No, we're done with questions. Thank you very much.
All right, listen up. So we will watch social media. We'll notify you guys when the next press gathering is going to be. For right now, that's the updated information that we have, and we'll share more with you